I feel really humbled to be talking after Dwayne Beck. If anybody has not met Dwayne Beck, I would strongly recommend it. He's very, very approachable and wants you to learn. And so, and with that in mind, I think you know, the agriculture will be a better place with Wayne around. So what I'm doing, I've got to figure this out here. That's it. I'm a member of Agritrend Agrology, which is a network of independent consultants, and we all own our own businesses and deal with our own customers. But we interact with each other consultants to solve problems for our customers, and with that we think we get a better solution. It's through that network that I got reacquainted with my old university professor at University of Guelph, who is now our senior agri coach in Agritrend Agrology, and he's our go-to person for any things that we might have special problems with. So he was having some, he was showing us what he was doing. He was doing some research on inoculant trials, and he was running out of virgin soybean ground, and I said, gee, I got one of those at home. And so we formed a partnership, and that's how we got started. Now we've turned most of our fields into research fields, and we have, of course, our own favorite homogeneous sites that we use a lot of times, but most of it's there. So we're testing out new products entering into the Ontario marketplace. The CFIA used to have efficacy requirements. They're lax now, but the good companies that are bringing in good products are still looking for third-party marketing information, and so it's our job then to separate the good stuff from the foo-foo dust, and some of my own clients benefit from some of that information well. So my task today here is kind of show you what we're doing different on my farm. We've chosen to keep it smaller and do more intensive things, and demonstrate to you a potentially useful product in amongst some of the ones that we have tested. I'm going to show you some of the trials that we did in 2010, followed up in 2011, and also in 2012. The product that we had been using testing was BioForge, and it's what a urea diformate or diformal urea. It's an antioxidant and helps prepare the plant for stress. And some of its label claims are it upregulates some genes that are associated with plant stress, and reduces the excess ethylene from that resulting stress. So you can find that on the web. So our methodology was that we're using small block randomized block design and we replicate it 6 times. We have been using 15-inch rows, but we've kind of now gone all to 30-inch rows using my no-till corn planter, and all our trials were planted no-till, but some of our cooperators wanted some conventional tillage, so we accommodated that. We couldn't have done any of this without some excellent summer help, and we're harvesting as well with the winter stagger plot combine. So some of the results from our first trial in 2010 was extremely encouraging. As you can see on the full control there, and what we were monitoring was nodules per plant, dry weight nodules, and then of course yield is our other indicator there. We had 4 treatments, one with manure versus no manure, and then BioForge as a in-furrow treatment, and no BioForge. So those were our only treatments. So the control, our nodules per plant was 7.8, and with BioForge there was no difference under the no manure situations. Under manure, our nodules were slightly less than the control, not significantly, but when we added BioForge as an in-furrow treatment with manure, our nodules increased statistically to 9.9, and our dry weight went from 57 milligrams to 67 milligrams per plant, and then hence our yield as well went from 72 to 78, which is a 6 bushel increase, and so we had thought we had hit the holy grail there. But we were confused a little bit by the fact that our nodule count reduced on their second sampling in August. And so we thought maybe we could try something different as a foliar application the next time. So next year we kind of did the same type of program, manure versus no manure. And the things I want to point out to you here was that under no manure, our nodulation, in this particular case this year we had a whole bunch of small nodules, 47 nodules per plant. With manure, though, is 22 nodules per plant, and that's typical of soybeans in a high nitrogen situation. The plant gets lazy and doesn't produce its own nodules, and that's what we're trying to get away from here. So, and so the BioForge in furrow, and then we went with a few foliar applications after that. The BioForge in furrow actually produced what Wayne would call an incremental increase in research there of about two bushels, 2 or 3 bushels, 2.5 bushels, and so a little more disappointing than the year prior. We went from in control here from manure versus no manure, about 2 bushels there. So nothing really exciting in that particular case, and we're having trouble to explain why it worked so well the previous year in this one. But certainly there was increase in nodulation with the use of BioForge, and with foliar applications of BioForge, we went and we held on to those nodules a little longer in the season. So there's a few things that we need to do as well. But this is another trial that we had set up without manure, but and we had simulated a high nitrogen situation where we laid down 100 pounds of nitrogen as UAN to sort of simulate that. Without nitrogen there, with BioForge at planting, we saw a bushel, nothing significant there, and about 69 or about 2 bushels difference between the control and the 100 pounds with BioForge, 100 pounds of N. So the other treatment that we use is seed treatment, which is a concentrated form of BioForge as a seed treatment. Not necessarily. The previous ones were done as an in-furrow application, and you can find this as well. Similar types of claims on the label there, except the application timing is at seed treatment. This is a picture of Melissa Haley. I don't know if anybody knows her. She was one of our summer students. And in this particular trial here, there was no significant difference between any of the trials that we had used there in that particular case. We also did a corn trial, and we applied different treatments there. And in this particular case, we had a control. BioForge with seed treatment, BioForge at V3, V7, and then we use a series of different Stoller products that Stoller had actually asked us to test in that regard. So in this particular case, the control went 241, and the BioForge with the seed treatment, relatively low levels of product, went 255. As you can see, statistically, it's not significant, but 14 bushels is 14 bushels. I think there's positiveness in that, but not statistically. So that was we were somewhat encouraged by that. This is a trial that I had done on white beans. That was just a couple of strip trials that we had done. It was real simple. I replicated. It's not replicated there, but I did replicate it twice. So I basically what I did was I loaded my my in-furrow 624-6 tank, and I washed it out and put it 5 gallons per acre with water with the BioForge in there. So I used BioForge as an in-furrow, and then I shut it off and then replicated, and then the other treatment I used was a Transit S, another product. And in this particular case, we actually got inverse yield, not statistically significant. The no starter in both cases here didn't yielded better in that regard. So we figure that, but the nodulation on the white beans was staggering, and I apologize, I couldn't find the pictures, but they were 3 to 4 times increase in the number of nodules visually compared to the control, and it was staggering how prolific the nodules were, but it did not translate into yield. And Dave and I had talked about that, and we reckon that it was because we had a full slate of nutrients in there for the white bean production. The extra nitrogen used and the extra nutrient used in production of nodules, and because there wasn't a lack of nitrogen in the control, that the extra energy was used to produce nodules and not necessarily yield in this particular case. So it's a bit of a lesson in that regard. So some of the conclusions and suggestions might be use of BioForge in this particular case appears inconsistent in low nitrogen situations with soybeans. BioForge in furrow may have a fit in manured fields by increasing the incidence of nodulation in the presence of high nitrogen. And we also both agree that seed treatments and in-furrow treatments are a relatively economical way to apply products, nutrient products in furrow and seed treatments. So with that, that's mine, and I'm got a minute left.
Okay. Any questions? I'll take one from the floor if we have one. And if not, you can catch up with Andy in the hallways, and you'll be around for the whole conference, Andy, right?
I will, yeah.
Yeah. That's at the back, Ed.
Area there, what was it?